That's Chris, right? Now, the reason that Chris wasn't mentioned in any of the other books is Chris is one of my only friends, even though now he has got something to do with it. But back then he had nothing to do with what I did artistically. And I love that. We were just friends, you know. He didn't want anything from me. He didn't want me to put me, you know, he wasn't an actor that wanted to go into one of my films. In fact, he would hate that. You know what I mean? And that's why I didn't mention it. But, you know, recently it's been a great joy. And I'll say this straight to you, Chris. It's been lovely that you've become more involved in what I do. And I really appreciate the fact that you have done. And it's great for us. It's cool. Dick. So it's funny you asked that because I've actually thought about this. In a kind of arrogant, kind of, not narcissistic, but arrogant moment, I kind of thought to myself, wouldn't it be great if sometime in the future, if I got stupidly famous, all of my books were put in like a pod and then shot off into space? And I thought, that's an amazing idea, that'd be great. And I got to the realization that even if it was found by an alien spacecraft and studied, they'd have to know how to speak English. So it's completely pointless. It's really funny, again, that you mentioned that, because I had this, the other day this happened. AI is one of those things that I don't think it will impact poetry as much as, you know, I'm not scared about it at all, because poetry is about, you know, describing human emotion. And a computer, no matter how much they study humans, you know, the race in our species, they will never be human, you know, so they can't describe these emotions that we feel because they're incapable of doing it. And a friend of mine who's you know, he's a fan of mine, and that's how we became friends. He actually sent me something the other day at breakfast and said, well, tell me what you think of this. And I read this poem, and it was the most god-awful, cliched nonsense I've ever read. But being, you know, trying to be an encouraging friend, I said about, oh yeah, it's okay. You know, I think you need to rework it and, you know, keep writing for like, you know, a while and you'll get it. And then he's told me that he'd actually plugged it into this AI and asked them to write him a 7-stanza poem about these different topics. And, you know, when I reread it, you can see that it was so cliched. There was no nuance at all. It was just telling you these things, you know. And I truly believe that poetry should be, I'm not trying to tell you what to think. I'm not trying to change the way you think. I'm just trying to make you think about that thing in a different way. I'm not trying to force it down your throat and say, this is what you should think, because this is what I think and I'm right. I'm trying to make you see it differently. And this thing, the AI, was literally just ramming it down my throat. It was like, this is how it is, this is what it is, that is what you should think. And everyone is different. You know, so my work, especially, what I try and do is, you know, show people things in a way that I'm not telling them what they should think. I want them to make up their own mind. You know, I want them to read something and maybe it will, you know, twitch something in their mind and go, hey, yeah, okay. And then go from there and then lead on and think their own thoughts and become, you know, how they feel about that thing is from them. It's not from me. You know, that's not my job. My job is just to, you know, tilt their head over and say, you know, you can look at this differently. You don't have to look at it like that. You can look at it like this, and this is how I see it. Now, how do you see it? And I don't think AI will ever be able to do that, because they've never been fucked over by a close friend. You know, they've never had their heart broken by someone that they loved. They've never had to do something that they didn't want to do. They've never shaken the hand of someone that they hate. You know, they've never done that. You know, and so that's why I'm really not concerned about them. You know, in this art form, I don't think they'll ever get close. Yeah, so The Irony of Honesty is coming out this March. It's in Berlin, and we're going to be doing it with a live show and launch again with music and some other great poets. So if you want to do something different and not watch telly that night, come along. It's going to be fun, and I'll see you soon, I hope.